the amazing sermon that she has presented. Me and Natalie this morning got here and we kicked everybody out, made everybody go in the fellowship hall because we wanted to practice. I talked to Natalie for 5 minutes last night at 11:30 because I hadn't even started yet. And I told Natalie, I said, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I have something. It's in my mind, I just got to dig for it. And she said, well, I've been typing mine and I think it's ready. So this morning, we hadn't even talked about our sermons or nothing. She gets up here to present, and our sermons go together like two peas in a pod. It's crazy how God works. But Natalie, through you, God shows all of us how to be true servants and to think of others before yourself. So, talking about being a leader. As many of you all know, I'm very active in my school's Beta Club. Beta shows us how to lead by serving others through many different aspects in life. In the past few months, my life has drastically changed. God put Beta in my path and has given me the opportunity to lead others, not only academically, but spiritually also. It has taught me how to continue growing as a young leader and has given me so much more as a person. But let us not start at present time. Let's jump back about 2.5 years ago, the summer leading to my high school year. I was Mr. Popular and Mr. Too Good for You, and I felt as if I was on top of the world. My life, at that moment, was almost perfect in my eyes. Then, I got a life-changing phone call that would begin my descent from the high life. My first few days in school were a little embarrassing. First, you had the stares. The people that would stand back and judge you just on what had happened and didn't think that you were still the same exact person you were a couple months ago. Many of you know the story. My dad was arrested, and my role model, the unstoppable person, was now in jail. I kept asking and thinking, no, this isn't real. I'll wake up and it'll all be fake. And sometimes I find myself still thinking, what if that didn't happen? What if? I felt as if I had started to plummet. I had just got shoved off thousands of feet in the air with no parachute. I started to stop talking to many of my friends and tried to start over, but something was missing. There was a void inside that kept tugging on my mind and my soul. I still remember to this day, the day that I came back to Blooming Grove. Outside in the community, I kept feeling people staring and shooting daggers of meanness right through me. But there was this feeling when I walked through the door of this church. As the door opened, I felt a backpack full of bricks, with shame, guilt, and anger just disappear. Blooming Grove was my parachute that yielded my plummet. You see, in my eyes, this was a terrible thing, and I just kept finding myself feeling sorry for what had happened to me. But now, I see that this didn't change my life for the worse. God changed it for the better.
Amen.
In Jeremiah 29:11, it states, "For I know the plans for you, plans to prosper you, not harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." I have heard this a few times, and you probably have also. God will knock you flat on your back just to make you look up. So now, I'm going to stop talking about my experiences, but talk about you and how God uses you and why He made you the way you are. Each of us has a gift from God, a gift that is given to us to show and tell others about Him. In Romans 12:3-8, "For by the grace given to me, I say to every one of you, do not think of yourself more highly than you ought, but rather think of yourself with sober judgment, in accordance with the faith God has distributed to each of you. For just as each of us has one body with many members, and these members do not all have the same function, so in Christ we, though many, form one body, and each member belongs to all the others. We have different gifts according to the grace given to us. If your gift is prophesying, then prophesy in accordance with your faith. If it is serving, then serve. If it is teaching, then teach. If it is to encourage, then give encouragement. If it is giving, then give generously. If it is to lead, do it diligently. If it is to show mercy, do it cheerfully." So after reading this last night, the first person I thought of was our Sunday school Miss Carol. The other day, I was just making what she thought was small talk, but I was actually asking her many questions. My main one was, why did you become a Sunday school teacher? Her response was, I kept feeling that it needed to be done. So I prayed, and as I prayed, the urge seemed to grow. So I told them that I wanted to start teaching Sunday school, and here we are. Almost 8 years later, and within those 8 years, she has shown all of us, especially me, how to exemplify a Christian, and taught us about the Bible and how God lights the lamp that we are to use to shine to lead to others to Him. In Matthew 5:14-16, Jesus states, "You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on a stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." As Christians, we should always have an internal flame burning to light the path for others. Now, the devil will try his hardest to kindle that fire, but you just have to keep reading and praising God to keep that fire burning. Well, let's go back right after I started attending regularly to Blooming Grove. God had shown me that Blooming Grove was my home and my family, so I decided to become a member. Well, then Miss Melinda started a youth Sundays, and then we started going to the nursing home. At first, I really didn't want to go, but y'all know Mama Joe. That person that enters your mind and stays right there until you do what she wants. Then she tricked me. Surprising, right? She convinced me to go, and she said, "I won't make you sing. Just go right up there and you got to support your youth group." So we show up, and she kicks me right in front of everyone and says, "Sing." Well, I had to argue, and like always, I lost. Then we figured out that I had a hidden talent that was just waiting to be uncovered. What I'm trying to say is God does not mess up on timing. So I want to go back to my what if. What if all that didn't happen at the beginning? Well, quite frankly, I don't know the answer to that. But I'm going to assume that it wouldn't have become as great as it has now. Now I'm going to call a few people to come to the front. When I call your name, please come to the front and remain standing until further instruction. Brother James. What to say? This man has led our church wonderfully, and he has been more involved than most. He is by far the backbone of this church. Delane, I don't know how you handle us sometimes, but I always love it when we mess up and you're always there to pick us back up. Brush us off and show us how true and to be amazing in a leader. Miss Carol, you have sacrificed so much time and effort to us, and I want to thank you for taking the time out of your day to sit down and teach us how God loves each and every one of us. Miss Suzanne, I don't have the words to describe how thankful I am to have you in my life. You have helped me grow inside. You have helped me help grow the seed that is planted inside of me, in all of us, to shoot for our goals and to never give up. God gave you the gift to be able to play the piano, and you showed me that when you use that gift, you help so many others to reach God. Papa Joe. I don't think I say this as much as I should, but I love you. You have been the father figure to look up to in times when we were going through divorce and everything else. You have set a goal for me. That goal is to someday be the man, husband, grandfather, and great-grandfather that you have been. Mama Joe. This woman is by far my best friend. Through all my life, she has been there for me, to fall on and help me when I get up, or when I fall. She has shown me how to raise a family that loves and cares for each other. She is my anchor, my mentor, and my teacher. Without her, I don't know where I would be today. Uncle Robert. You're the servant of this church. You amaze me how you answer to God's callings without hesitation. You have shown all of us that God is great, and He will take care of us no matter the circumstances. And you have led all of us closer to God. Mom, these past couple of years has brought us so close. You're always there pushing me to do bigger and better things. And you show that God can really do miracles in everyday life. Miss Melinda, I ran out of paper, so. Melinda, you're always there to have that smile when we're standing up here singing. And I mess up, and you're always there saying, you still got this, you're good. And you keep pushing us. So, my point here is to show that even if you don't think that you're making a change in others' life, you are. God has lit a fire inside of you, and it's your job to keep it burning. My question is, will you? Thank you.